they have this whole back and forth where, you know, Molly's trying to figure out a little bit about what's going on with Nomi. So she says, where are you from? And she's like, oh, I'm from back east. It's like, oh, where back east? And that caused her to flip shit and throw fries everywhere.
Different places.
Different places. What the fuck? You got my ketchup fries everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that kind of movie, folks.
Oh, goody, goody, here it comes.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show.
You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Oh my God, don't stop now!
With your hosts, Brian, John, and Elaine.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show, the madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Kyneton, joined by my fellow co-host and filmmaker, John Woolscroft.
Man, everybody's got AIDS and shit.
Oh my God. That has to be a t-shirt. That has to be. I'm surprised it isn't. That line especially, or I love doggy chow. Those have to be t-shirts. That might, I don't know if we can put that on t-shirt. We might be dealing with copyright infringement. But you know, yeah, everybody got AIDS and shit, and I love me some doggy chow. Why would we be bringing those two things up, John?
No, they're not necessarily connected. You can love doggy chow, and everybody else can have AIDS and shit.
AIDS and shit.
It's because we have another hearty helping of our pantheon of utter shit, and we are finally talking about the cinematic classic Showgirls.
Oh yeah, we're in episode 213, by the way, and this one, you know, I'm surprised it took us this long to get to this. I really am. Yeah. And I think it might be because, like, we tackled pretty much all of the awesomely bad films. I mean, we didn't hit, we pretty much have hit most of the awesomely bad films that most people know about, right? So it's like, well, we didn't hit that, I don't know, big budget one that cost $45 million to make.
Yeah, well, there's two types of pantheon, shall we say, like the director with a dream who has maybe $100,000, like the Neil Breen movies and the Tommy Wiseau's.
Yeah,
and then there are the big budgeted disasters, like, you know,
Cutthroat Island
and Showgirls. Yeah,
yeah, and this one is in that camp, and boy, oh boy, it's a fucking doozy.
And it doesn't make any sense.
Doozy.
The screenwriter was like the biggest name in screenwriting at the time, like the Basic Instinct guy.
Yeah.
And Paul Verhoeven, the RoboCop guy. Like, come on, man. What the fuck?
To be fair, he's pretty insane. I honestly think Paul Verhoeven is ooball with talent.
So not ooball?
No. It's if you took ooball, which most people might not know who ooball is, but he's one of the worst filmmakers out there. He seriously is. He made Blood Rain. Yeah, he made the Blood Rain movies. But ooball, he's kind of got a weird kind of sense of his movies, but there's no talent involved with it. This is Paul Verhoeven. He's insane. He is an insane man. If you've ever seen behind the scenes interviews with him, he's like, fuck this. Yeah, everything's going to be insane. You're not going to like anyone, but that's the movie. Okay? And on top of that, he always has crazy amounts of blood and gore, along with shit tons of sex. Like, that's literally a Paul Verhoeven movie. Titties and gore.
Sounds like a winning combination.
But he has a talent about it. You can't say he doesn't. Total Recall, RoboCop, Basic Instinct. The man knows how to make movies that are actually successful. Okay? But then you get to this shit. And it's like, what the fuck? That's why I say that the man has some talent. He's just ooball with talent.
And I remember this movie because, like, This came out around the time of puberty kicking in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got some stories about that. This one and barbed wire. Man, that was a combo.
Oh, it was striptease. Was a big discussion on my school
Oh, yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah. That one's now, I think that's on Prime, by the way.
Oh.
If you want to relive your childhood jerk moments.
Oh, well, as long as what's that movie with oh god damn it, Dead Air, and now I can't think of her name.
It's okay. There's a lot of
she was in the World Is Not Enough.
Oh, you're talking about fucking Wild Things.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that's that right there. If you, I mean, honestly, imagine if you had a Saturday night of
Beat down memory lane,
Showgirls, barbed wire, striptease, and fucking Wild Things. You literally would have no liquids left in you at that point. You'd have to go to the hospital because of rug burn on your dick.
Just either powder or spiders would come out of your dick at the end.
You'd just be like, eep. No, nothing's coming out.
It's like an old timey car breaking down.
And then you just hear this wah wah. Yeah, but these
Anywho,
these were kind of like the weird movies that were not exactly cinemax porn, okay? Because they weren't not cinemax porn, but they also weren't good movies either. These are movies that were just like, you're there for the titties and somewhat of the storyline, but it's not porn level.
Showgirls was as close to pornography as mainstream movies get.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So you discover this movie, in the tender age of what, 11, 12?
Yeah, around there. Yep.
Yeah. What were your thoughts initially when you watched it?
Honestly, I think I was just watching for Beebs, so I don't think I really recognized anything of like quality whatsoever. I don't think it was until I got to like college and I watched it again that I was like, oh no.
Yeah. See, me, I was in the same boat. This one I think came out on Cinemax because of course it did. Where no other cable channel is going to have this. I mean, Showtime maybe Showtime. Sometimes you'll get them on Showtime. But yeah, this was a Cinemax classic right there, and it always played right before the softcore shit. Like this was your 9-10 o'clock at night movie. Okay, they played this one to lead into Cinemax After Dark. But
it's like the schnapps leading into the whiskey.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's like some of the same moves are what you're going to see in the real stuff. But yeah, same sort of deal with me. Like I remember this movie being referenced in Scream 2, and that's why I was like, oh, worst movie he's ever seen is Showgirls, or scariest movie he's ever seen is Showgirls. I'm like, I wonder what that looks like. And I watched it, and I was around the same age as you, John, and I'm just like, man, there are so many boobs in this, and what the fuck is that woman doing to that guy's crotch or midsection belly? Because let's be honest here, that's what we got going on here. Like, yeah, I was like, and here's the thing: when you watch this movie nowadays, and you like, if you're my age, so 35, you watch it now, and you're just like desensitized by all the boobs. Like there gets to be a point where you're just like boob overload. You're like, I'm not really. It's like way too much.
Yeah. I blame instant pornography.
Oh yeah. People got to understand. Back in the day, if you wanted to get internet porn, it took a good 40 minutes to download a picture, and a day to download video.
Oh yeah, it had that like, was it little check mark thing like floating across the screen while you watch the little bars, like,
or
we got another bar. Yeah,
or it was one of those things where it's like, if you're getting the video, because I don't know about you, I think everyone pretty much tried to download porn on their computers, mom and dad's computer, of course. you set it in the background and you just hide it and be like, okay, well, it's going to take a day to download this video. So if I open up Cause of Light and I just have that running, when I get home from school, the porn will be ready. Yeah, but this is a crazy fucking movie. Let me be honest with you. This movie, nobody is likable in this movie. Nobody.
I would take one step further and say everyone is the most hateable person on the planet.
Well, I would say the only person who isn't hateable in this is Molly. Right? Nomi's female friend.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
the movie
she's
kind of
not
like
hateable.
abandons her after a while.
Well, she gets abandoned and beat the fuck out and raped. But yeah,
Because that's the kind of movie we're dealing with here,
that's what we're
folks.
doing. And it's not one of those one where it's like you see the guy, he's like, I'm going to do some bad things, and then we cut away. No. This is Paul Verhoeven we're talking about here. Same guy who introduced us to the RoboCop dick shot, okay? So, yeah. You see everything, and I don't think you need to. By the way, this movie would not fly nowadays.
No.
At all. Couldn't make this movie now.
For a variety of reasons, but I know exactly what you're saying.
could not make this movie at all nowadays. Could not do it. Couldn't do it. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I just think that it's the subject matter, and it's just really bad. Really, really bad.
It's also that, like, unfounded, unresearched 90s cynicism where, like, the assumption that everyone is evil no matter what. And, like, very much, I mean, Las Vegas could be as bad as they say, but I feel like they just assumed and didn't actually do any research into anything.
Well, you know what's funny about that? I think if we didn't know about the Harvey Weinsteins in the world,
Right.
you know, if we didn't know that, I might claim that, yeah, this is cynicism at its greatest. But at the same time, I tend to think that this movie just might, be more or less kind of a look at just how scummy show business is. Okay? Now, it does it through the lens of Vegas Showgirls and that whole world. But, I mean, you could take this and you could apply it to, you know, filmmaking, TV shows. I mean, the whole thing, the whole idea of the entertainment industry. You know, we've seen some stories that have come out and some things about people that are really horrible. That honestly might make Showgirls a little bit more relevant.
Yeah.
In terms of that. But who knows? Who knows? This might be Paul Verhoeven's, you know, love letter to look at all the shitty people that I have to deal with when I try to make a movie.
But not do anything about it. Yeah.
But not do anything about it, right?
Yeah.
Not do anything. But because, you know, there's no hero in this movie. There's no protagonist. Everyone's horrible. Everyone's fucking horrible.
Not Nomi. Nomi's the
you mean
best.
Pollyanna? Don't say her name. She'll flip out. Yeah. So where do we want to start with this movie? Do you want to talk a little bit about where it kind of came from? A little bit of the history behind it. Again, you mentioned before, this came right off the tails of Basic Instinct.
Yeah, and the writer old Joey Boy was the hottest thing in terms of Hollywood screenwriters. But yeah, Brian, where did this little nugget originate from?
So, I mean, honestly, like, you know, they came up with the idea while they were on vacation in Maui, and I guess it's the idea that Joey Boy, and we're talking about Joe Esterhaus. I think I pronounced his name right, yeah?
Yes, yeah.
Esterhaus. That he always wanted to do kind of a big MGM musical. So it's like, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he ultimately wanted.
So did Steven Spielberg. Then he made Schindler's List.
I'm gonna say, like, what? How the fuck do you go from I want to make a big MGM musical to let's make a shitty film about showgirls backstabbing each other with titties and, you know,
Dude,
everybody got AIDS and shit.
Tits and ass, tits and tits and tits and ass. Everyone's got AIDS and shit.
Yeah. So ultimately, like he came up with this idea of basically doing an MGM musical, but based in Vegas, and basically got moving down the road from there. Now, again, the idea was scribbled on a napkin, okay, and he was given $2 million to write it. This is Hollywood in the 90s, folks.
Hollywood. My dreams come true.
I mean, if you've got an idea for a musical and a napkin with a pen, you can make $2 million too.
So what I think is we got a couple of music numbers, about 300 titties, and there's a plot in there somewhere. $2 million. Oh, well, shit, drinks on me.
Well, you know what it was? I think probably they were like, well, you remember Esther House did that, Basic Instinct, where we saw Sharon Stone's vagina. So, it's going to be like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be hot and sexy and steamy? Yeah. It's going to be rated R, right? Yeah, sure. Wink, wink. This wasn't. This is NC-17 for obvious reasons. But yeah, I mean, this movie, I mean, pretty much just kind of was fast-tracked because of Basic Instinct. Because of the fact that they made a movie like that was kind of broke the mold in terms of what could be allowed and be successful. Because Basic Instinct is that movie is good, but definitely pushes the envelope a lot. Definitely pushes the envelope a lot.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's fantastic. It's just every once in a while, people are in the mood for that like racy mainstream movie. Like I feel it's the 50 Shades of Grey.
You watch 9.5 weeks, and then you couple it with, Basic Instinct. That's kind of what you do. And then you watch a second 9.5 weeks, and you're just like, this is garbage. It's kind of basically the same sort of thing. It's porn.
Yeah. You in the mood now, honey? Yeah, let's go upstairs.
Yeah. So, do we want to get into the plot of this movie? If we can try to.
Oh, boy.
It's not the most dense of plots. It really isn't.
Yeah, there's not much. I mean, our hero, Nomi.
Played by Elizabeth Berkley.
Yeah, Saved by the Bell alumni.
The greatest actress of all time on Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
Known for her speed ramblings or whatever it was.
I'm so excited.
Yes, I was waiting for you to do it.
I'm so excited. I'm so scared.
I don't mean to shit on Elizabeth Berkley. I'm sure she's a very kind person, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Your work just kind of speaks for itself.
Well, there's a reason she wasted no time getting back onto that Saved by the Bell reunion.
Did she get on the Saved by a Bell reunion? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know. I was never a big Saved by the Bell guy. So
neither was I.
I
was a Full House man.
Reunions. Yeah.
I was a Full House man. I was not Saved by the Bell.
Family Matters.
Oh, fuck yeah, Family Matters.
Got to get that.
The whole Friday night block on TGIF. Yeah. But yeah, Nomi is a young drifter who's hitchhiking to Vegas. And we know that because there's a sign that says Vegas is 350 some odd miles away, which, by the way, that doesn't ever happen. You never see a sign that says 350 some odd miles away.
And on the side of the road. Yeah. You're
in
next
the fucking mountains. Yeah.
Las Vegas is 9,000 miles away.
That would be like if I'm in Pittsburgh and I see a sign for Los Angeles that says 3,000 miles.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
We're almost there.
Thank you, movie, for letting me know that it's 3,000 miles away.
Hey, show don't tell, right?
That's right. And this movie definitely shows. Doesn't tell. Yeah. So Nomi, kind of hitchhikes with an Elvis impersonator to Vegas, because of course. And she kind of discovers right off the bat that Vegas is not all sunshine and rainbows. No shit.
Yeah.
She gets her luggage stolen by the Vegas the Elvis impersonator, and then she starts just having a fucking flip out.
Yeah, but thankfully for her, almost immediately she meets the nicest person in all of Las Vegas.
One nice person in Vegas, the one honest to good person in Vegas. Nomi meets after she pukes on her car and almost dies. by getting run over by cars, and because she jumps into the street. Okay, she's like psycho at this point, just like going nuts. And Molly saves her and feeds her, which I wouldn't do that.
Well, and the thing is, like, Elizabeth has two levels in this movie. Either she is surprisingly understated, where it feels like she's sleeping through the role, or she hits, out of 10, she hits a 15 of overacting.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is called. I went to theater practice and was told that no one in the seats in the back can see me, so I must overact. But then at the same time, it's like, well, I have to read the lines in front of me. So, talk about doggy chow.
I don't think anybody was directing her. I think that Paul Verhoeven fell asleep in his director's chair and had a little note on his jacket that said, "Please pin paychecks to lapel."
Here you go. Well, I mean, if they're, I mean, he can't pin paychecks to the dancers. Yeah. They're not wearing clothes. Ow! Ow! Yeah, but no, we get the scene between Molly and Nomi that perfectly exemplifies this fucking movie. Where, first of all, Molly brings the most gigantic soft drinks I've ever seen anywhere.
Vegas, baby.
No. Like that's bigger than a big gulp.
Oh yeah.
And this is way before the supersize craze of the late 90s and early 2000s, where everyone was literally getting gigantic drinks left and right, and having massive sugar spikes and dying. This was way before that, to the point where McDonald's was like, yeah, we have to stop doing the supersize shit.
Well, and I hate to nitpick this because we could be here all day if I do shit like this, but like speaking of from an audio point of view, and I'm a big audio guy, is that they just got these drinks, and I know they want some kind of sound effect when they're drinking, but the thing that sounds like they're almost out of their drink, like that's like 64 ounces.
I've seen that. I've seen that in a bunch of movies, by the way.
Oh, I hate it.
Bunch of movies that did the same sort of thing, where they put that sound. It's like, there's no way in hell. I mean, unless that thing is like all ice.
Yeah.
You just got a bucket of ice with 2 tablespoons of soda. But yeah, they have this whole back and forth where, Molly's trying to figure out a little bit about what's going on with Nomi. So she says, "Where are you from?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm from back east." It's like, "Oh, where back east?" And that caused her to flip shit and throw fries everywhere.
Different places,
what the fuck? You got my ketchup fries everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that kind of movie, folks. But guess what? That doesn't deter Molly. She's gonna say, "Hey, you can stay with me."
Yeah, you unhinged barfing sociopath.
You seem crazed, like a little lost puppy who's nipping at people and might have rabies. But hey, guess what? You can stay with me. So 6 weeks later, she's staying in her house, and they're just having girl talk time in underwear, because that apparently is a thing. Not written by a woman, by the way, can obviously tell you that. Because, everyone has conversations in their underwear. But Nomi's got a job, thankfully. But, of course, it's a job stripping at a place called the Cheetah.
Yeah, at the sleaziest fucking strip club that's ever existed. When you're done, you gotta give me a blowjob.
Oh, well, that's played by the strip club owner, Al. Played by, of course, Robert Davey. The man in the 90s, you're just like, well, he either can be a cop or he can be a sleazy asshole. One or the other. Or a sleazy cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kill two birds with one stone.
Like, I think he was in Die Hard. I think Robert Davey was one of the cops in Die Hard.
He was. Let me check it.
You're going to check it. Yeah, but yeah, so Nomi's got this job at the sleaziest strip club, but she's got eyes for bigger things. She wants to be a showgirl at the Stardust. And Molly happens to work as a costume designer at the Stardust, so she's kind of involved with that whole thing. And on one of these outings, Molly is able to get her behind the scenes to actually watch one of the shows. And this is where we get our first introduction to what they think that showgirls are. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Or like what people in the Midwest think like Las Vegas showgirls.
This is what Las Vegas are. You got fire and there's like ridiculous costumes and flying naked women. It's like, I mean, I guess so. I mean, that's a lot of production value to go into something like that.
I did see a lot of burlesque shows in Vegas. They were normal shows, but they just like threw titties in there. Like, so
well,
not at this production.
I understand the costume aspect of it, but like, Jesus fucking Christ, you got it literally looks like a major league theatrical production. I'm like, there's no way in hell that any of these places would have something like that. I mean, maybe, you listener, you can contact me and tell me, no, I go to Vegas shows all the time, and that's exactly what they're like. And I might be wrong, and that's fine. I've been to Vegas a couple times, and I've never gone into those shows to see them, but it just seems like that's a lot of production value for a titty show. Okay, but hey, maybe that's the way it is. Point is, this is our first introduction of Gina Gershon in a non-face-off role.
And when you need a woman who has no hesitance of showing her titties, you hire Gina Gershon.
Yeah, and also to hint at some kind of, backstabby / lesbian attraction. Which, hey, that's cool. That's cool. We don't judge here.
Yeah, but there's no subtlety at that
there's
either.
There's no subtlety.
Like when Elizabeth Berkley is dancing later, she's basically drooling. It's like The Mask. Cameron Diaz is on stage.
Yeah, you're just waiting for Gina Gershon's eyes to pop out of her mouth. Pop out of her head, excuse me. But yeah, Gina kind of does this whole, she plays the main showgirl, the big star of the Stardust called, her name's Crystal Connors, because of course alliteration. And, she has this like, I hate you, but I want to fuck you vibe with Nomi. And she clearly tries to like put her down at times, but then pushes her up. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? But yeah, Crystal says something to the effect of like, oh, well, you're a dancer. You better not be dancing at that cheetah place. That place is gross. And it's like, Crystal, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
At all. You're actually 100% correct. It's like, I don't know why Nomi is pissed off, because she says basically like, fuck you.
That's her knee-jerk reaction to any criticism at all in this movie.
Where did you think she was gonna say? I mean, where you work. Your boss says, "Oh, well, you come on my face yet?" I mean, that sort of thing. So what do you think she's gonna say? She's a high-paid showgirl. Yeah. So this leads to kind of this back and forth thing. And, sure enough, we get, and I'm going to kind of skip through the plot here because, again, there's not much to this.
Yeah.
We get kind of a scene next where we're back in the strip club, and sure enough, Crystal decides to make an appearance with everyone's favorite detective, Kyle MacLachlan.
Agent
Cooper. Which he's a bad guy.
Oh my God. I love Kyle MacLachlan. Like, I love him for days, but my God, he is terrible in this.
Well, it's his haircut.
Oh yeah, he's got the Fifth Element going on.
He's got that Fifth Element, Zorg hair thing going on. He's also got you can tell that he's prepping for his Cliff Vandersnake outing in the Flintstones. He was a bad guy in that too. He had the same sort of vibe. But yeah, he plays the entertainment director, Zach Carey, which we're like, okay, I don't really care what your name is. But you're not Agent Cooper in this.
Yeah, you're Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah, we get this weird thing where Crystal and Zach won a private dance from Nomi, and we get one of our first of ridiculous staged pseudo-sex scenes. I call it a pseudo-sex scene because Kyle MacLachlan's pants are still on. Where she literally is like destroying his pelvis.
Yeah. And it's like, whoa, she is amazing at dry grinding. She must be a showgirl.
No,
Like, what?
she's
Yeah.
just like destroying. And it's just violent. It's like it's violent. And as you said, yeah, Gina Gershon's just sitting there going like, yes, this is amazing. I hate her but love her at the same time. And that then leads to Nomi getting a request to try out for the Stardust. Basically from Crystal. Okay? Which again, this kind of goes back to does Crystal hate her, or does he like her, or she like her, or what? Like, we don't know.
Whatever the script needs.
The script said that today you like her, tomorrow you hate her. Yeah, and this then leads to basically drama. We get a whole bunch of drama between two other showgirls, which ultimately leads in one of them, basically having a major league accident. Like a major league accident. I know I'm skipping forward a lot, but again, as I said, there's not much.
No, I don't really think you're missing anything, though.
Well, there's a scene between Crystal's understudy and this other showgirl who she brings her kids backstage, and Crystal's understudy is like, fuck that, kick the kids out of here. It's like, I mean, I can't say I blame, but at the same time, it's like, she didn't have anywhere else to put them. And that leads to, this thing where that the one showgirl with the kids, she sabotages the dance of one of the understudy by throwing a bunch of glass beads on the ground, and Nomi sees this, doesn't say anything, because she's shady as shit, and Crystal's understudy like falls and breaks her knee, which ultimately this helps because Nomi then gets kind of, put up as kind of like an understudy for her, kind of, for the most part.
Our hero, everyone.
Our hero. Prior to this, we also get this weird, it's often quoted, scene of Nomi and her Versace dress. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
You mean her Versace?
Her Versace dress? Yeah, and this is basically a scene to illustrate that Nomi's an idiot.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't even know what Versace is.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Do you not even know Versace?
It's like, well, you were able to buy one.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, where are my gucky shoes? You mean Gucci?
My gucky shoes.
Yeah, she finally has like a couple of bucks in her pocket, and instead of like, saving it or putting it in like some account to actually wield some response, like financially. No, she goes and buys what is it? Versace.
She calls it Versace.
Versace. Yeah.
Get a Versace
dress because for the first time in her life she could buy something extravagant, even though her friend who's a costume designer is like, hey, I can make you that for like $10. She's like, no, I want to buy it because I can.
But I mean, honestly, I think I would have the friend who can make it for you for $10 because she obviously knows how to make costumes for showgirls, and that is where you're going for your interview.
It's like that one guy that buys the $25 single piece of sushi. He doesn't, they're not thinking that that's going to be like that delicious. They just want to prove they can.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the Wagyu beef people.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I am too good for the T-bone or the filet mignon. I must have the same meat, but aged and from a cow. And that's only in Japan. And eats a special kind of grass. It's like, yeah, but you're spending how much on that steak? Oh, like $500. Okay. I guess, is it made out of gold too? So you can ship bricks of gold, I guess.
Hey, there are those gold flaked chicken wings that I think are like $500.
Why?
Yeah.
That is Roman times level of excess right there.
Yeah.
Like when they used to have vomitoriums where you would eat a shit ton of food and then puke up and in front of people. Like that's the same sort of shit right there. Same shit. We're in end times Rome level folks. Yeah. Okay. This isn't a political show. We're not going to get into that. Let's get back to the movie. So, this scene of the whole, like, you know, backstory between the two dancers, that's not Nomi and Crystal. I think really what it's designed to do is kind of illustrate that you have to do anything to get ahead in this business. You know, like it's the precursor to ultimately what Nomi does, which is she pushes Crystal down the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically doing the same sort of, you know, violent action that she already saw that resulted in basically no one taking any responsibility for it.
Yeah,
You know?
and Crystal is, like, kind of okay with it because I think she, like, saw it coming because she probably pushed somebody else down the stairs.
Well, that's
10
basically
years ago.
what she said. Is like, yeah, you know, I've been there. I know what it's like. It's like, yeah, but this bitch pushed you down the stairs. You're taking this awfully well.
Yeah.
But ultimately, this act leads to Nomi basically becoming the star of the Stardust, and with that comes all that goes with it, including now having good old Kyle MacLachlan all to herself, and he's scummy. They have one of the craziest, insane sex scenes that I've ever seen, honestly, in any movie, and I've seen a lot.
I wonder how they had to feel shooting this. Like, they had to feel that this is
let's
insane.
walk through this here. It starts off very innocently enough in front of a pool that has neon palm trees with real palm trees in the background.
Vegas, baby.
Vegas, baby. Yeah, excess. Not only can I have real palm trees, but I gotta have fake ones made out of neon in front of my pool. Don't worry about electricity.
One of those things tipped over. Yeah,
you'd be dead.
Yeah.
You'd be dead, but you'd die happy in
Yeah.
Vegas. Big time winnings. But yeah, it starts off with just like a normal pool sex scene. You're like, okay, we're getting that. It's good. But then Kyle MacLachlan kind of takes it up already a notch by saying, yeah, I've got this bottle of champagne. Here's your champagne, and I'm going to dump it on your head and lick it off you.
Yeah, and that's a bottle of Dom Perignon, which he, like...
That's expensive shit right there.
Yeah, just to pour on her titties. Like, no, man, get the cheap shit if you're going to pour it on the titties. Dom Perignon, you appreciate that after the fact.
You're supposed to. That's your after coitus drink. You don't waste that in the pool. I mean, the fucking pool. You've got chlorine in the pool. Jesus, man.
Yeah.
But again, this is Kyle MacLachlan. He's not Agent Cooper in this one. He's Zach Carey. Or just call him the entertainment director of the Stardust. That's you don't even really need to know the guy's name. But
the whole time watching it, like I have his name in front of me now, but I knew like Kyle
I didn't
MacLachlan.
know.
That's how I knew him.
They mentioned him one time in his name, and you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
I knew
Kyle
Nomi and Crystal, and then I was like, oh, and Kyle MacLachlan.
yeah. But we get.
Oh, and by the way, Richard Davey,
Go ahead.
it wasn't Die Hard. So
He wasn't Die Hard?
yes.
I knew it. Knew it. But yeah, we get this whole thing where there's a waterfall, and Kyle MacLachlan does this whole like creepy, I'm gonna come through the waterfall thing, but it's sexy. And then we also get Nomi giving him head underwater, which I don't know how you do that. Like, it just seems ridiculous.
But it great she had a snorkel up her nose.
But yeah, I mean, you got to come for air, and that seems counter to it. But okay, whatever.
He's like, "Hey, man, you really have let up on the old dick." Oh, she's dead.
Yeah. Oh, you can't do that. That's right. There's this thing
Tonight on Dateline, drowning to our head.
Yeah. And then of course it ends with the thing that most people see is the most ridiculous part of this sex scene: the washing machine humping on the midsection.
Yeah, it's like a trout on land, just flopping violently, trying not to die.
Yeah, and you're like, this is not enjoyable. This can't be enjoyable. I mean, maybe I'm just, I'm old fashioned in that, but it just seems like it does not seem like it would be enjoyable. What again? It's taking a cue from a lot of cinemax porn where it's, somehow the penis ended up on the midsection.
Yeah.
For reasons. But yeah, it seems extremely violent and not fun at all. Then we end with that. And that's like the main scene that people, when they think of Showgirls and they think of all the sex in it, that's the one they go to. That and the dry humping scene from earlier. But while this is going down, Nomi's star is risen. So has Agent Cooper's. And, this kind of opens up a lot of doors for Nomi in terms of, like, she starts to become very popular. She goes to all these parties, and she takes her friend Molly with her to this one party where they meet this guy, Andrew Carver, who's like Molly's, oh my God, favorite musician of all time. You can tell because Molly has pictures of Andrew Carver literally littered throughout the goddamn apartment.
Yeah, and this guy looks more like a magician.
He does.
Yeah, than a rock star, but whatever.
He kind of reminds me, you watch wrestling. What's the wrestler who always has the guitar?
Elias?
Yes. He kind of has an Elias vibe to him. Yeah, he kind of does. Because maybe it's his hair. I think it's the hair.
He wants you to walk with Elias.
Yeah. He just kind of has like a vibe like that. At least that's kind of what I got out of it. But yeah, Molly finally meets Andrew Carver, and she's all like starstruck by him and thinks that they're going to have a relationship because he takes her to the back of the room. And of course, that's where we get a horrible scene, really, really horrible scene, in which Molly is basically gang raped.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as I said, this is a scene that I don't think needs to be in there. I really don't. I think it is really exploitative. And I understand that, Paul Verhoeven's trying to show, like, yeah, this is horrible. You're supposed to hate this. But at the same time, I don't think you need to show it. I think,
or even just hinted at or like suggested, not that Paul Verhoeven like show every detail.
I mean, I get that Paul Verhoeven is, he kind of goes nuts like this, where if he can show it, he will. But at the same time, I don't think this adds anything to the story. I don't think showing that violence adds anything. I honestly think that it would be probably more effective if you literally did kind of like, you saw the two guys come in, and then, you see, Andrew kind of grab her, and then you cut to her in the hospital. It leaves us, the audience, a little bit of time to kind of make our own horribleness in our heads, which is effective filmmaking. There's some times where you show, but don't tell, and then you don't show, and you leave the audience up to kind of make it up for themselves. But
I get it with Paul Verhoeven, like with RoboCop and Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Like, those are parodies, so obviously the violence is meant to purposely desensitize you because that's part of. But this is not,
No,
so
and this is.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I could think of is that he's like, well, I want to show that this is really the way that Las Vegas is. That this is kind of in my head how horrible it is, and you could also say that this is kind of like. The same level as what's the movie I'm thinking of? The one that's really horrible in terms of showing stuff.
Leaving Las Vegas?
No. It's oh man, I'm gonna blank on this one. It's
now
the one with
turn to blank. Yeah,
it's the one with Jennifer Connelly and
Requiem for a Dream.
Yes, Requiem for a Dream. That movie is one we might have to actually do eventually because it is also one of those ones that's very hard to watch.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was like, I don't know if I want to go down that road again.
I own it because everybody has to own that,
Yeah.
If you're a film buff, you have to own Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah,
but it's one of those ones. See, you got it too. But it's one of those ones that you watch maybe once a decade and then you're done for another 10 years.
Yeah, it's like Deliverance. Like, yeah. Once a decade's good. Yeah.
Once a decade's good. You don't need another one, especially the whole ass to ass scene. But that's kind of what I see the scene is like. That movie especially is over the top for over the top sake to show how horrible drug addiction is. And this kind of is over the top for horrible's sake to show that these people that are in the entertainment business are scummy assholes who have no problem doing this. But I don't think that it's necessary. I don't think it's I think it's unnecessary. You could basically get the same thing across as if you implied and then showed the after effects of it. That's just me. After that horrible scene, we get Nomi in the hospital, visiting her friend, and this is where Kyle MacLachlan comes in. It's like, oh yeah, we're not going to the cops. Why? Because I got a file on all of your shit, and I found out everything about you, Pollyanna.
Yeah.
This is Vegas, baby.
This is Vegas, baby.
We don't go to the cops.
We don't go to the cops. Andrew Carver's part of the team. It's like,
yeah.
Okay.
He's not part of he's just there for a residency. Like,
let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. He's Kyle MacLachlan's buddy. Okay.
Yeah.
So that leads me to believe that Kyle MacLachlan probably was in on a couple of those, gang rape things at one time or another. So yeah, that's his buddy. Basically, you find out that Nomi, her parents are dead because her father, I think, killed the mom and then killed himself, and she did prostitution and drugs and everything like that, and basically had a whole bunch of stuff happen to her, horrible things.
Nomi needs some deep therapy.
Well, you're supposed to at this point feel bad for her, but you look at everything that happened up to this point, you're just like, I still can't feel bad for her. Still can't. She's still unlikable.
Well, every time she does something terrible too, she throws an over the top, overacting fit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh.
That's a good impression.
No, it's all right, I guess. Yeah.
It's all right.
Stop. Just stop. Yeah.
Just stop throwing your ketchup fries everywhere. But Zach does his whole "you're gonna be a big star" thing, which I'm like, really, Paul, you had to put that "you're gonna be a big star, make a lot of money off of you." It's like, oh god,
don't you want to make it in show business?
You want to be in show business, toots? Be a big star, big star. So ultimately, this leads Nomi to do what she does, which is go after Andrew Carver herself in the only way she knows how to, by pretending to be, kind of a prostitute sent up to him, which I got to go with this. So, Andrew met Nomi and knows that Nomi is friends with the woman that he just, sent to the hospital. Why is he so chill when she shows up?
Yeah.
Why is he so chill? I'm really, John, it's a question. Why do you think he's so goddamn chill? This makes no sense.
I mean, I think the man is just a deluded sociopath. But he had a singing talent, and so he found a career instead of being a serial killer.
Yeah, I guess so. But Nomi fucks his shit up. No, really fucks him up hard. Beats him severely. Kicks him. Uses her stripper shoes. Beats the shit out of him. I don't think they say if he's dead. Do they say if he's dead or not?
No, I think it's up to you, dear audience, whether he's alive.
I think she killed
or dead.
I think she killed him. That's just me. Either way, if he got, severely injured to the point where, he can't sing anymore, that's basically, her career is over because, he's part of the team. But at the same time, I think she killed him. Personally. But right after this, she goes back to the hospital, tells Molly that she beat his ass. And then, of course, on the way out, she sees good old Crystal still hanging out. And that's where they have their heart-to-heart and finally deliver on the kiss that we've all been waiting for in the movie. Because, you get that Crystal really wants a piece of Nomi. And they have a nice little hospital bed kiss. And she leaves.
Little smoochy poops.
Yeah, she leaves. Crystal forgives Nomi for pushing her down the stairs because she's like, oh, yeah, I did that shit too. And we're all cool.
Yeah. You're not really a Las Vegas showgirl unless you pushed a bitch down the stairs.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And so she decides that she's going to, hightail it out of Vegas because, she's burned all of her bridges there. Which, God, that's insane that you were able to burn all your bridges in fucking Las Vegas. 'Cause that's the one place you think you're not going to burn any bridges.
Yeah, she had an exciting, 5 weeks, maybe? Like, she went to, nothing to stardom.
She was there for 6 weeks, right? Because we picked up 6 weeks later. So what? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe
3 months?
3 months or so? Yeah, 3 months.
And in 3 months, she went from, nobody to, headliner.
Yeah.
And then lost it all in the same amount of time.
And, of course, it has to end because we have to make this movie cyclical by having her get the hitchhike with the same Elvis impersonator who stole her shit.
Give me my luggage.
Give me my luggage. Like, really? Do you care at this point? Does it matter?
It had to
that was 3 months ago, bitch.
Had to have a poetic payoff,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, it was... This movie... It's I don't know if this movie is just it was written by a space alien or written by a person who's I watched a bunch of Cinemax porn and Showtime porn, and I really want to make a movie that is like that, but not.
Yeah. It's honestly like a really intelligent 15-year-old wrote his point of view on women and Las Vegas, there's boobs everywhere and all women want to kiss each other and stuff, but everyone's evil, and I wrote this screenplay, and then his Uncle Joe went, oh, hey, wait a minute, I could put my name on this.
His Uncle Joe. Yeah, I mean, that's, you kind of have right. It's kind of written from the point of view of a prepubescent, boy. It's just I've discovered what boobs are for the first time. I think I need to put them in every scene in the movie. Yeah. I mean, all I could say is that this movie is an experience. You will come away completely going change from it. And you'll also wonder how in the fucking hell this movie got made. You seriously will. Because I can't see anyone. And the best part is the people who were in the movie hate this movie.
Yeah, this basically killed Elizabeth Berkley's career.
Well, I mean, her career was not really...
before it could even start, yeah. Because
she had just done Saved by the Bell. That's literally all she had done. I think she was also in the spinoff too, that were there in the college years.
The college years, yeah.
So, that's 93, 94, and this movie comes out in 95. And so you're basically thinking she wants to escape from the child star image that she's had, the squeaky clean image, where it's okay, I get it. And that we've seen this happen before, right? This definitely does occur. It's why Miley Cyrus is Miley Cyrus, okay? Yeah. And not Hannah Montana. People want to escape from that image, and I get that. But at the same time, don't you want to read the script and ask yourself if you're ready for this sort of thing?
I guess I can kind of get it. Hey, Elizabeth Berkley, we got Paul Verhoeven, the RoboCop guy, and Joe wrote this script, and he's the biggest screenwriter in Hollywood, and it's gonna have a lot of flair and sex appeal, so obviously people are gonna want to go and see it. This is gonna be the biggest movie of the year that isn't Disney,
Yeah.
So until she got on set and went, uh-oh.
Well, I honestly, I think more than likely people were sold in this because of Basic Instinct.
Yeah.
I think people were oh, this is going to be the next Basic Instinct. The guy who wrote and directed Basic Instinct, yeah, they're involved with this. This is their next thing. You saw what happened with Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct. So I think Elizabeth Berkley and probably everyone involved was oh yeah, I want to be part of this because I want to be the next Sharon Stone. I want to have that kind of trajectory in my acting. Which that's different though, because Sharon Stone knows how to fucking act. Sharon Stone is a great actress. She really is. In a lot of the stuff she's in.
Fun fact.
Basic Instinct 2, not so much, but I mean,
yeah.
I'll forgive her for that one.
Fun fact, my mom was Miss Crawford County, and when she had to give up her crown, she gave it to Sharon Stone, who
No
won.
shit.
Yeah, the following year. So, yeah, Sharon Stone went to Edinburgh University.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's kind of a local legend around these parts. And, yeah, my mom crowned her as the new Miss Crawford County. So,
Wow. That's awesome. But this movie, here's the thing. This movie I don't think is as bad as people think it is. I don't think it's like the level of, oh my God, it's unwatchable. It's watchable. And it absolutely is enjoyable. From the perspective,
that's a sad thing to say. Like, yeah, it is technically watchable. It's not exactly the highest praise.
No. But I'm going to say, like, if you ever wanted to see what would happen if a lot of money was thrown at a bad movie, this is it. This is literally it. It's the same sort of thing as like, you know, The Room and Troll 2, but those movies don't have money behind them, right? So that you're seeing some of the kitschy shit that goes with it, like boom poles just out in the middle of the open. Sound is more, editing that's not that great. These sorts of things aren't in this movie.
Yeah.
But what you've gotten here are quite literally some of the worst performances of all time. For everyone.
It's the most expensive porno ever made. And bad porno at that.
I would say the most expensive softcore cinemax level porno ever made.
Yeah. That's fair.
I mean, we're not talking pirates here, okay? We're not talking Stuck Up by Cannonballs or anything like that. Not saying I've seen that or anything like that. No. Never. I'm classy like that.
I do love they have the version that takes the sex out in case you really just want to watch the movie. You know?
Is there really a version that has that?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's horrible. You want to actually pay attention to the movie? How long is the movie? Well, it's only 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we spent a lot of money on that CGI pirate ship. We got to show it.
Now without any smacking.
You can just enjoy the acting from the actors only. See their line delivery and comment on that. But yeah, this movie, I think there's a reason why it is viewed as kind of a cult film nowadays. It's definitely one that you have to see, and it's not one I don't think that you're going to say like with we mentioned Requiem for a Dream, where you have to watch every 10 years because it's horrible. But I really believe that this is kind of like the high budget terrible film. That's in essence what this is, a high budget terrible film that is enjoyable to watch if you're around family and friends. Not family. You don't want to have this as a family night movie, but around a bunch of friends when you're drinking and you just want to watch something terrible and comment about it. This is a good movie for that. Because it's just, there's so many quotable lines. We already mentioned that everybody got AIDS and shit, but then you can't dance. You got a lot of talent, but you can't dance.
Yeah, we didn't even mention that.
We didn't mention that stuff because there's too many fucking plot threads with this. But yeah, there of course was that whole relationship thing that is really weird. Like it comes and goes really fast. Just like he hates her, doesn't comment. He criticizes her dancing, but then in the next moment, they're in a relationship that lasts only a day.
It goes nowhere.
It goes absolutely nowhere. Ends up with him basically like, yeah, everybody got AIDS and shit, but I kind of impregnated another dancer.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, guess you didn't take your own advice there, buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are some final thoughts you got on this movie, John? Since we're kind of at the end of it.
Yeah. It's the kind of movie that only the 90s could greenlight. You know, and not just because like you couldn't make the movie today for, maybe moral or ethical reasons, but just like, this reminds me of, and only in because like, what were they thinking that like all the Dennis Rodman starring movies that came out around that time too, like Double Team with Jean-Claude Van Damme or whatever it was called. Like it's just the 90s. Sometimes it was just throw shit against the wall and see what sticks. And this really seemed like a, well, I mean, we might not get away with it with all the tits and ass, but hey, people want to come for the tits and ass. Let's just go for it, and that was that mid 90s mentality, of, so I really think it was one of those things. And then, after you see the final cut, you realize, oh shit, we put this much money into it. We have no choice but to, put it out there. We got to get our money back on it. Although I think it lost $10 million. Not
it did, and I mean ultimately it made. What did it make? It did not make a lot.
I think it was $45 million budget, made $35 million, somewhere.
Give or take. It grossed $20 million and some change in the U.S. and then its worldwide gross was about 20. So I mean, yeah, it made 40 some odd. I think if you kind of accumulate the worldwide gross as well, but either way, it did not do well at all. It was panned by critics. It was panned by basically everyone, including, I guess I said, the cast. Kyle MacLachlan said that it's horrible, which I'm like, what part did you not get that? When in the course of making this? That's what I always find funny when actors come out and say, "Oh yeah, this is horrible." You starred in it though, right? Like you were in it, and you're not a side character. You're a main character. So at what point did you realize that this was bad? And why are you saying that after the fact? It's like, no, you knew because you saw the sides, right? You saw the script that you're reading. You're like, am I really doing this? Am I really having this Saved by the Bell actress grind on me and break my balls, literally? But I guess you thought it was a great film, though. I mean, I get that people, who are making these movies, it's kind of like just kind of pay attention to your shots and that's it, and your scenes. But at the same time, you read the script, right? At least I'd hope you read the script. But yeah, he mentioned that it was absolutely he was absolutely gobsmacked. This is horrible, horrible, very slow, and had a sinking feeling when you're watching the movie. I don't really have a sinking feeling when I'm watching. I'm just like, I can't believe that people spent money to make this. That's kind of the feeling I have from it. But yeah, people did not like this film. My final thoughts on it are, I think it has, obviously when it came out, people hated it. I don't think it's as hated as much. I think it's one of those movies, again, it's like an awesomely bad film because it just, these actors that are not terrible. Gina Gershon is not a terrible actress. Kyle MacLachlan surely is not a terrible actor. But what happens when you get them and you put them in these roles of scummy human beings, and in a town filled with scummy human beings, and everyone is horrible, and there's no good people in this, or the good people get beat the shit out of by, again, scummy human beings. What do you get? And that's kind of what Showgirls is. I do see some parallels of this criticizing the entertainment industry, and that's kind of been what the thinking man's criticism of this film is now. That they've said, hey, this actually is not as terrible as you think. It's more or less a critique on the entertainment industry. I can see that point. I think Quentin Tarantino has said that, along with calling it a classic exploitation film, which I totally get.
Yeah.
But
the most expensive exploitation film ever made.
Yeah. So, I definitely see where people are coming from in terms of its, idea of criticizing the entertainment industry, again, in light of things like Harvey Weinstein and other entertainment luminaries basically revealing that they're all horrible human beings. And then, again, that makes you think about Showgirls in that context. That being said, this is a good movie to watch if you're looking for something, a bad movie that you want to get your friends together post-quarantine and post-pandemic and say, let's have a bad movie night. This is a good one for that.
Yes, especially if you can't watch like a Neil Breen movie, because
can't. I'd watch Showgirls over and over again if I never had to watch a Neil Breen film.
Here's a triple feature for you, Psychos Nation. I Know Who Killed Me, Showgirls, and Catwoman. There you go.
Catwoman did it.
Yeah.
I Know Who Killed Me, Showgirls, and Catwoman.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's an experience. You have to watch. Everyone who has to watch Showgirls at least once. And then you never have to watch it again. You have to watch it again. You have to watch again. Good talk. Great.
Yeah.
This was a good one. I really like this one. And again, we need more bad movies to watch. And that goes to say, if you folks out there have some bad movies that you want us to review, or any movies for that matter, we actually do have a way that you can tell us. I think we've mentioned this a couple times. How? Well, folks, if you go to our website, we also have posted this, I think, on, we posted it on our website, and I think we also posted it in our show notes. Our show notes, if you go to app.oddrec.com/The Cinema Psycho Show, with dashes in between there, again, there's a link in the show notes. You can actually let us know what movies you want us to watch. It's really cool. So you can suggest a topic or suggest a movie, and we will review it, we'll see it, and decide if we want to go. We actually posted a bunch of our kind of our schedule so far in our plan creation area of that. So, if you really, really are passionate about a specific bad movie, and John and I are like, yeah, we haven't seen it yet, throw us a recommendation. And it also doesn't have to be a bad movie. It could be any movie for that matter, or any film-centric topic. Not TV, although we may once in a while do a TV thing. I think we might need to venture into that, because TV is becoming kind of like the new film, in my opinion.
Or a streaming thing,
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Like I watched, what the fuck was it? The Army of the Dead the other day.
Oh, yeah, I watched that too.
You didn't like it?
No.
See, I didn't. Here's the thing. I understood what it was. So because I understood what it was, my bar for entertainment was real low. And so that was fulfilled by the film. And I almost was going to ask you if we should do that one instead. But
we can review it if you want.
Yeah, not on this one. This is only for Showgirls. But
yeah.
We might want to do that one instead. But yeah, anyway, go to oddrec.com. Our link is in the show notes. It's also on the Psycho Show page. And again, you can suggest to us a movie that you want us to watch and review. Kind of a good way to get involved. All right. So with that said, John, where can they find you at on the Twitter machine?
The Unreal J-Wolves.
And you can find me at Brian Collington. I also on the Psycho Show page. Be sure to like us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Psycho Show. You can also find us on the Epicast Network, epicastnetwork.com. If you have a favorite movie or question you want to throw away, or, I don't know, you watched Showgirls and you need some group therapy, you can contact us at cinemapsychoshow.com. And be sure to subscribe or follow us wherever you listen to audio, and we will see you next time.
He says that in America, everyone's a gynecologist.